Oh, it looks a bit like an egg. That's better. Hey everyone, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Corner of Craft podcast. I hope you're all well and have had a lovely week or month. I don't know how often you watch my videos. If you're only a casual podcast viewer, I hope you've had a lovely month. Can't believe we're already in July. Where is the year going? I say this all the time. This episode of the Corner of Craft podcast is sponsored by Skillshare. Thank you so much, Skillshare, but I'll chat about them a little later on. I've woken up in a cracking mood this morning, so this should be a good podcast. I've got my Crit and Knit t-shirt on, link in the bio if you want one, and I've got a red lip on, I've got fun rainbow earrings, even though it's no longer Pride Month, and it's just, we're having fun. Today, I've declared it so. So be sure to pop the kettle on and make yourself a cup of tea or coffee or gin or glass of wine. I don't know what time of day it is / what you like to drink. So enjoy if that's what you fancy. I actually have a finished object today, but I also have a new cast on. I have a lot of whips that haven't been finished yet, I know. So the mission this month is to get quite a lot done in totality. Which is exciting, but I have quite a busy month coming up, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to post. I have a cat up here. She's going to distract me quite a lot. Oh, I've got 2 cats up here. Even better. So in the middle of the month, Mario and I are off to Canada for 10 days. It's very exciting. I've never been before. We're going specifically to Toronto, or Toronto, as I believe the locals call it. And yeah, I've never left Europe before, so I'm quite excited to finally go to another continent. It's technically for a friend's wedding that we're going for, and we're going to treat it as our honeymoon because, for those that don't know, we got married in November 2019, that was close. And we were going to go on honeymoon in May 2020 to Japan, but obviously that didn't happen and we haven't been away anywhere since, only within the UK, which is fine and lovely. I've got like fluff on my nose, which is fine and lovely. But I'm very excited to get back on an aeroplane because it's been a really long time. But if anyone has any great Toronto recommendations, please let me know. Yarn shops would be great. Bakeries would also be welcome because whilst Mario puts up with going to yarn shops with me, I go to bakeries with him. But then I also benefit from the bakeries, so it's a good partnership. Yes, but I'm also in the south for a week at the beginning of the month. Actually, next week I'm going down because it was one of my other friends' weddings. So I am going to be taking some bead weaving stuff down, and I'm going to be taking a lot of knitting down because I'm hoping to get a lot of knitting done. I was hoping to get some of my Advent minis dyed by now, but so far not yet. But hopefully this week I'll manage to do some because I'm filming this on Monday, for those that don't know. That's all you missed so far. Well, that's all that's coming up, I suppose, so far. I had the Wool Monty last week. That was glorious. That was so much fun. Thank you so much to everyone who came along to say hi, and thank you to everyone who sent virtual well wishes. I truly appreciate it. Hey Bubkin, what are we doing? We're exploring around. Yeah, we're making a small amount of noise, but not enough for me to get annoyed by it. All right. Can I grab one of you and show the people? I have to pay the cat tax. Oh, there's a tail. That's a Kimchi. She's a black cat. This is Kimchi. Quick grab, then I'll let you free. This is Kimchi. Hello. And then, you go where you need to go. And this, I'm sorry, she was under the tripod. This is Miso, the tiny chunk. Although they have both lost a bit of weight recently, so good job, ladies. The vet was telling us that they were getting a bit chunky, so we started weighing their food and measuring better. But still giving them treats and dreamies when they deserve it. Even though Kimchi gave me a heart attack the other week, if you watched the studio vlog, then you'll be aware she tried to jump out the window in this room, which is the top of the house, and she was trying to jump out onto the roof. So slightly stressful, but it's probably time to get into chatting about knitting and crocheting because that is why you're here. But before we get into that, let's talk about Skillshare. Thank you so much once again, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. I truly appreciate it. And thank you to all of you who have taken advantage of the generous offer that Skillshare are providing, and encouraging them to come back to me. If you'd like to take advantage on it, check the description box. But let's talk about what Skillshare is. I feel like I've used Skillshare so much this month in particular. Whilst I was doing show prep, instead of watching YouTube videos or Netflix or anything like that, I was watching things on Skillshare, and actually I've been finding it very enlightening and helpful. I was looking up setting up for craft fairs, I was looking up spinning, weaving, different types of bead weaving, and even if I wasn't actively partaking in the class because I was doing something else, a lot of it has absorbed, and I'd have a notepad right there so I'd jot things down if I needed it, and oh, it's just been so helpful. In fact, it's this notebook right here, and it's just been so helpful this month. And I had some of you come up to me at the Wool Monty to say that you have also been taking Skillshare classes. So thank you so much. If you have any class recommendations that you think I should try out next, let me know. For those that don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community for those of us who are creative and curious. You can learn a bunch of different things from the classes. They've got things like drawing, hand lettering. I've been watching a lot of hand lettering. It's very soothing to watch. Bullet journaling, planning, content creation, small business help. Oh, there's so much. And yeah, it's incredible. There are thousands of classes available on so many different topics like I have just listed, and you can search by difficulty. So if you're a complete beginner at something, you can start from the beginning, or if you're advanced, you don't have to learn all the beginning stuff because you can just select advanced, and I find that so useful. There are so many knitting classes available and all other sorts of yarn crafts as well. So if you want to learn something new to add to your fibre artistic portfolio, check out Skillshare. The classes that I've been looking up recently are spinning classes. Not that I have the time to start spinning, but after seeing all the beautiful fibre at the Wool Monty, oh, I really wanted to buy some. So I didn't because I don't have anything to spin with, but I was checking out the classes to see if it's something that I might want to do, and you know, maybe in the future when I have a bit more time on my hands. The class that I've been enjoying the most recently, in fact I started it yesterday whilst knitting one of the projects that I'm going to talk to you about, and I haven't finished the whole class yet. I will be transparent, but I'm on class 5 out of 11, so we're a good chunk of the way through. It is social media storytelling, make incredible videos for Instagram, YouTube and more, and it is by a gentleman called Rob, who is an artist, designer and content creator, and he has some great ideas about how to plan it out, and it's really refreshing. Now he does do it full time, but he does show how you can plan it and make it sort of slot into your life, which I do like because I do want to grow my social media. It is a significant part of my business and I would love it to like grow and progress, and sometimes I feel like my YouTube is kind of stagnated. So yeah, I'm trying to watch different classes like that, and this one in particular, to help me step up my content creation. And I've got some good ideas bubbling up inside. Another thing that I really like about Skillshare classes is the fact that you can give feedback, get feedback, do projects and assignments, and I love that. Underneath the classes there are reviews, and also there are assignments you can do and projects you can submit so you can get feedback on the work that you're doing. It makes it more of a two-way conversation as opposed to being very one-sided like some online tutorials can be. There are new classes cropping up all the time and even live workshops, which I think is so good. You're never going to run out of stuff to watch. There's so much on that website and it's amazing. Because Skillshare is built with learning in mind, none of your classes are interrupted by ads, so you can just keep going with the flow while you're taking your class. Skillshare have been so incredible and generous. They are offering the first 1,000 of my subscribers a 1-month free trial to their premium membership. Just click the link in the description box or in the top pinned comment below to snag your spot. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video once again. Let's just get back to the podcast, shall we? Talking tea, just for a second. The tea I'm drinking today, tea is quite a significant part of my life. I drink a lot of it. The tea I'm drinking today is Bird and Blend, and it's unseasonal because I'm drinking the strawberry Nutella pancake tea, which I love so much. It's so delicious. but it's only available around Pancake Day, which is Shrove Tuesday, which is the Tuesday before Lent starts, which is just before Easter, like quite a chunk before Easter. It's not just before Easter, it's like 40 days before Easter. But it is super tasty, and they do have a lot of teas that are akin to it. If you like the fruity aspect of a tea, Eton Mess is delightful, makes a very good cold brew as well. But if you prefer the chocolate aspect, Chocolate Digestives is amazing, and they're all available year round. If you would like to get some tea for yourself, check the description box. There's a cheeky promo code in there for you as well, where you can snag some freebies. Why wouldn't you? Right, that's enough of ad stuff. Shall we chat knitting? I brought up some of my projects, and the closest tote bag I found conveniently was my cat watch tote. Love it. I love it. I use it loads. Anyway, like I say, I have one finished object. It's not the thing you want it to be, and it's not the thing you think it is. It's a completely new cast on that I knit yesterday. I knit it in its entirety yesterday. I didn't move for a good chunk of time. There was a good few hours. I had quite the sore neck afterwards because I was concentrating so much. But on Instagram, I declared I wanted to knit myself a tiny frog. A while ago, I declared this. Yesterday, I made it so. I'm having a bit of issues with the wires that I put in it. I'll just show you the frog. When I say it's a tiny frog, I'm not joking. This is the tiniest frog. Now, I've put wire in its arms and legs. Their arms and legs, sorry, I won't refer to you as it. But I love this little fella. So cute. This is a Claire Garland pattern. You may have seen on Instagram, India Crawford knit a tiny frog in a tiny stripy jumper and made the most adorable reel. Oh, I can't. It's too cute. So then I've seen loads of other people also knit themselves a tiny frog, and I wanted in on the fun. Now, they're a bit lopsided, they're not perfect, but you know what? It gives them character. And it's not my first knitted toy. Who am I kidding? I've got 2 unicorns back there. But it's my first thing I've knit that's so small. I knit this using Drops Alpaca in, I think this is called Green Grass or Grass Green. I think it's Green Grass. Green Grass sounds better. And Off-White, Drops Alpaca. And then its jumper is Chromatic Yarns Merino DK in Dust of Deliciousness, because I had some left over from the shawl that I'm going to be showing you in a bit. And I used 2mm needles to knit the whole thing, and 8mm eyes, and it's so cute and so adorable. These cats are distracting me so much. So cute and so adorable, and it's because I've got yarn everywhere and I don't want them attacking the yarn. I'm just going to go move the yarn, because then I'll have a bit more peace of mind. Kimchi found a tiny little makeup sponge that she's walking around with in her mouth. I think it was one that I used for nail art at some point ages ago. I've been having a clear out, and so loads of stuff went in the bin, and that must have fallen out the bag. It's clean, it's fine, but it's just, she's walking around with it in her mouth now. It's actually quite cute. But anyway, tiny frog, Claire Garland pattern. And the jumper is a separate pattern. It was originally the rat jumper, but she's now selling it for 50p. Or you can buy the frog and jumper pattern together on Lovecrafts, I believe. But yeah, I put wire in their arms and legs, so it has a bit of posability. I didn't do the most perfect job. It's 0.5mm wire. Didn't do the most perfect job of installing it because I didn't want like pokey bits of wire. So I tried to fold it, but I think I made it a bit too long because you can see it sticking out of their legs sometimes and blah, blah, blah. Its eyes are wonky. Its mouth isn't perfect, but you know what? It's my tiny frosh friend and I love it. So I knit myself a really tiny frog, and I'm going to be making more of them. I had to adapt the jumper pattern. The jumper pattern originally has like a roll neck on it and blah blah blah. Don't know if it's because I made it too small, or because I put the arms in the wrong place, or what. But I couldn't have got it to fit, so I just cast on the amount of stitches after the first lot of increase. I purled a row and then I just started following the pattern, so I don't have like a ribbed collar, but I don't think that it looks too terrible. Sit on my hand, tiny frog. The sleeves I adapted. I knit 4 more rounds of stocking stitch on both of them, and I knit 2 more rounds of rib just to make them a bit longer because they're very short. It was a pain in the ass to put on them, but yeah, worth it. I don't think I'm going to be taking the jumper off, but I think the next frog I make, I might try and crochet them a dress, because I think that would be very cute. And I can kind of make up a crochet pattern better than I can make up a knitting pattern. So I knit this entirely yesterday. What a productive use of my Sunday. I wanted to dye up some advent colourways, but you know what? I didn't. Hey, Kimchi, what are we doing? No, stop please. I know, it's very exciting. There's so much for you to look at in here, but I'm trying to do some work. They usually like to chill in the lean-to, but I've had to lock the lean-to off because I've got the window cleaner coming today. Even though it's raining, I don't know what he does about that. So anyway, yeah, I made a tiny frog, and I've got all the bits that I need in here. Got my little 8mm eyes. I also bought 6mm, and I bought 10 and 12 because I didn't know how big I wanted to make my tiny frog friend. It turns out I made it minuscule. And I'm using this rose gold wire that I got to make tiny coat hangers that I never made. So just thought I'd put that to use. But yeah, they're definitely going to be getting some froggy friends at some point. I'm just going to sit them on my tripod for the time being. Or maybe even higher up. How very cute. Anyway, so currently have 3 socks on the needles and a shawl. You'll be disappointed to know that not much progress has been made on my D&D socks, because last time we played D&D I was desperately trying to finish my shawl. Spoilers, I didn't. But tonight we have D&D again, so I'm going to go back to knitting my D&D socks in D&D, and hopefully we can finish off the foot of the first sock, because it's been on the needles for a really, really long time. For those that don't know, in case it's not made apparent by the writing across my bosom, which is now covered in bub fluff, is I D&D. I play it. And yeah, I didn't do my normal intro to the podcast at all, did I? So out of practice. Yes, so we play D&D. We try to play once a fortnight, and so once every 2 weeks, which is not bi-weekly in my book, because bi-weekly means twice a week, because we also have the word fortnightly. So we play fortnightly, and these were the socks I was going to only knit during D&D, because they're simple, they round and round and round, they were easy, same as simple, and yeah, but then I've just got distracted by knitting other projects, of course I have. So the yarn is HJ yarn in Unicorn Farts? Something like that. I think it's called Unicorn Farts. Unicorn Vomit. Something like that. And it's just a really fun, colourful, speckled yarn, which I love. I've done a New Depths heel, which is a pattern by Becky Sorensen, and fits my high arch of my foot very well, with a contrast that Georgie of the Fibre Fox sent me ages ago when I bought a bag from her. This bag. And I bought this bag from her. This also has a sock project in. Would you like to see this sock project that's in here? I cast this on my birthday. My birthday is mid-September. And I cast this on when we went to Wales, and I knit it and finished it, and then didn't cast on the second one. So, do I even know what needles I used? Who knows? Hopefully I wrote it down somewhere. But this uses 2.5mm needles and 60 stitches, and yeah, I've got my little dragon progress keeper on there. I make stitch markers for those that don't know, and I dye yarn in colours inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. This is one of the stitch markers that I possess / made and kept. One of the few, one of the many. and that is living in my Busy Bees GB D&D bag, which I love so much, so much. So the next sock, I asked quite an important question, and I'm sure you're dying to know what happened with it. The more I looked at it, the more I actually quite liked it. So no, I'm not going to frog it. I'm going to keep knitting it. Have I touched it since the last podcast? No, but I'm going to keep knitting it, and it's going to be glorious. So last month, I asked if I should frog this, and a lot of people on YouTube said yes, and a lot of people on Instagram said no. Interesting, huh? Interesting. Found it very interesting. So I've decided for now to just keep knitting it, because the more I look at it, the more it's actually, the fact it's subtle is quite nice. So these are the Cold Brew socks, and this is a pattern by Alison of Lofty Loops, and I'm knitting this out of Giddy Yarns in Cherry Blossom, and she's a self-striping queen. She's so good. And I've got a Cherry Blossom stitch marker on there, also made by myself, and these are using 2.25 millimeter higher sharps, and yeah, and then just a contrasting grey that I have. But I was going to frog these because I didn't think I liked how subtle the stripe change was, and I was going to cast on one with a more obvious stripe change, but I actually quite like the subtlety in it. So I'm going to keep working on it, and going to keep knitting it, and I just need to kind of not leave these projects up here and actually take them downstairs, because if I take them downstairs I might actually work on them. I know, right? What a foreign concept. So this is living in my Down Sheepy Lane bag, which is adorned with a ton of pins. Not by a ton, I mean 3, and a slow stitch marker, which is older than time itself now, because I think I made it 2016 potentially, who knows. Swig of tea. Now you've seen both of those socks before, and you might think, Hannah, you said 3 socks. Correct, you've got good hearing. So I cast on a new pair of socks for Sunday at the Wool Monty, because I felt like I should be knitting my own yarn and not someone else's. And I've already done the increases for the heel, but now looking at it, they're quite short. So maybe I need to rip it back a few rows and knit a few rows more before I increase for the heel. So this is knit out of Chromatic Yarns Merino sock, and this colourway is called True Sight. It was originally a Knit-A-Roll Yarn Club colourway from last year, called Bow with True Sight, but then I tried to take names out and such because intellectual property. So we're just going with True Sight, which is also D&D applicable, and it's just beautiful shades of like blues and navy with little pops of pink, and oh, it's just so nice. I really like it. This is just a basic round and round stocking stitch sock, and I'm knitting these on 2.5 millimeter needles, she says questioningly. 2.25 millimeter needles. And I did 18 rounds of rib because I was chatting to people, and then I've done just stocking stitch down and have already increased by 6 stitches, and I'm ready to do the heel, the new depth heel. But I mean, I could just have a shorter pair of socks really, because I don't need all my socks to go above my boots. I'll just wear my longer socks when I want them above my boots. So I guess that does work. I'll just keep knitting these. And yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. I love this colourway. I was a little bit sad because it didn't sell that well, but I really like it. But you know, I love my teals and blues. She says wearing red today, but I do love my teals and blues. Teals, blues, purples, greys. Cool tones. I love a cool tone. She says wearing red. I mean, is it a cool tone red? Yeah, it's a blue red. It's not an orange red. But still. So that project is living in my Little Grey Girl Wizard bag, which seems to be the project bag that I take with me to yarn shows, and it's absolutely covered in bub fluff. I'm looking at Miso, but she's got her eyes closed. Miso! Oh, I know you heard me. Your bub fluff all over this bag, madam. Excuse me. She don't care. She doesn't care at all. Final whip. Final whip. It's not a sock. Not a sock. This was meant to be finished for the Wool Monty. Was it? No. Is it taking me forever? Yes. Oh, look, it's that tiny ball of yarn that I knit that tiny jumper out of. Oh, you're there. Such a tiny jumper. So, I've actually got quite a lot done on it. Believe it or not. But I haven't finished it. This is the Flat Iron Shawl. Flat Iron Shawl. And is a pattern by Tony Lipsy. It's a crochet pattern. It's a 3-colour fade. And we're into the final colour. I do wish the transition was a bit smoother. And annoyingly, my last few skeins of Metagaming Pigeon, which is this colour here, that I tried to dye up, the purple ran. So they are much purplier. Purplier? They're much more purple. Let's actually use words, Hannah. And actually would have faded in much nicer than this. Very annoying. But yeah, I was falling out with that colourway. Very much so. Hopefully I can crack what is up with it, because I'm going to be kicking off otherwise. Oh, I was so close to the end of the row. I could have just finished the row, really, could I? No. I am using a 5mm crochet hook from Pedro's Plaques, which I love and I'm finding very comfy to hold. I've now been using it for quite a long time, and yeah, I very much enjoy it. So I will be getting more of them from her. And yeah, this is just, it's massive at this point. The rows are so long. So long. You increase by you increase by a stitch every single row. So it's just exponentially growing. But it is nice though. Oh, it's a good weight. And yeah, this was meant to be a show sample, which would have been really nice because there were loads of crocheters at the Wool Monty, but I didn't take it along with me because I didn't finish it and didn't know how I could work on it while stood, because it's quite cumbersome. So this is the Flat Iron Shawl. Like I said, I'm making this entirely out of chromatic yarns, which is my own hand-dyed yarn, on my merino sock base. I need to start making something in my BFL base because I prefer it, but for some reason I keep going towards my merino. But anyway, we're not allowed favourites when it comes to our yarn. That's not true, of course we are. So here we have Dust of Deliciousness, which is what the Tiny Frosh's jumper is knit out of. I'm saying Frosch because it's the German word for frog. And it's just a fun word, really. I suppose I could say grenouille, but Frosch is just so much fun. And then we've got Spell Resistance. Very fun. This is part of my Resistances collection that came out in January. And then finally we've got Metagaming Pigeon, which was new in March for East Anglia Yarn Festival and has been the bane of my life for the last few weeks because the colourway just won't look like this. It just doesn't look like this right now because the neon fluorescent purple that I'm using to speckle, which you can't even see much of in here, is running and going everywhere. So maybe I just need to use significantly less of it. But yes, don't dunk it in your tea, Hannah. I really, really like it, but I just really want to be done with it. You know when you have a whip on the needle slash hook slash on the go for too long and you just think, I'm sick of this now, even if you've not actively been working on it. Oh, I just want it done. Oh, the rain has just begun. Sorry if you can hear the rain. Maybe we'll add some nice ambiance. But the annoying thing is, with this tiny frog friend, I concentrated on them for a solid 3 hours without moving, which is, you know, not ideal, but a solid 3 hours without moving, I knit this little frog friend. And I've never concentrate like that much ever. And I definitely don't concentrate, sorry, I'm putting him back on the tripod. I definitely don't concentrate like that when I'm crocheting my shawl. So I need to try and get back some of that oomph for it and just finish it. I pledge to you, pinky promise, we're bringing back the pinky promise. We did it for that jumper, we're doing it now. Next podcast, that's going to be a finished object, and if it isn't, then by gum, something terrible's happened. Because it's driving me up the wall, so pinky promise. Comment down below a project you're going to finish by next podcast, which will be up the first Friday of August. So get your pinkies out and promise me what project you've had on the go for too long that you're going to finish. Excuse me, this is outrageous. I'm trying to podcast. Anyway, I hope you can still hear me over all of this noise. But yeah, that's all the projects that I have been working on and have finished my tiny frog. And I kind of want to take my tiny frog, and maybe a different one, although it's also quite cute, maybe I'll take a few, with me to Canada, and it can be like my little travel frog, and I'll take a picture of it in front of various landmarks or doing various things. Would that be fun? Would you enjoy that? I would enjoy that. I'm like a child sometimes, and I'm alright with it. Whilst I was stood at the Wool Monty, I didn't buy any yarn at the Wool Monty. If you watched the vlog, if you haven't, please watch the vlog. I hope I've showed so many more stands than I did at East Anglia. So I think I'm getting the technique down for vlogging while vending. So I've just had to reposition my legs. Yeah, I think I'm getting the technique of vlogging while vending, which is good because I've got one more yarn show left for the year that I know of. Hoping that Nottingham Yarn Expo happens, but I've not heard anything, and I feel like it's quite late now. But it would be very handy if it was happening. But I didn't buy any yarn at the Wool Monty because I have so much stash here and here. Oh, what happened to you? You've fallen. And I really want to knit with it and not have it sat here anymore and just me looking at it. So I need to cast some of it on, basically. Like, I have this gorgeous skein from Castleview Yarns. Beautiful. I've just realised that I've cast on a sock in merino after saying I'm never going to knit merino socks ever again because they just get holes in them. What am I like? So I've got these, I've got my, I've got this, which I'm tempted to make into a baby jumper for, excuse you, for one of my friends. This is in the orchid colourway, but I think this would be a really cute baby jumper. So potential baby jumper for one of my friends. I've got these, which are the something socks. I had the pattern somewhere. This is what happens when I tidy up, I lose things. This is Selena through the wardrobe yarn coats this way up, and they're just fun slipper socks. And yeah, I've just got so much yarn that I want to cast on. This hat, this is going to be a hat. You can't really see the colours because the light's gone to pot, but with this pom, which is very not me colours. I don't tend to do pastels, a general rule. I tend to go brights, but you know, I was drawn to it. And then I've just got so many other, I bought this in Wales when we went on holiday to Wales, and I was going to knit myself some colourwork mitts or something with them. And then, why are you here? Oh, I just think I just liked you. I think I just liked how you looked, and then I didn't want to sell you. But I've got so much stash. I've got 4 sweaters quantities here, as well as all my random single skeins. So I really want to start knitting from stash and stop knitting with my own yarn. Not because I don't want to knit with my own yarn. This is the difficulty when you start dyeing yarn. Okay, let's get real. Stay. Let's get real for a second. When you become a yarn dyer, you think, yes, this is going to be great. I'm going to have so much knitting time because I don't have work interfering with my knitting time. Because all of the time that I spent at work, or all the time I'm not spending at work, I'm spending on my business. So when I leave my full-time job, or even it was part-time job, so when I leave my part-time job, I'll have more time because I won't be doing that, and I'll still be able to maintain my business. No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. I've now been 4 years self-employed, coming up to, I'm pretty sure I left in the first week of July. Maybe July the 7th, I think, was my official last day at my last part-time job. And I thought I was going to have so much more free time. No, you just find other stuff to fill it with. And then, any time that you do have to craft or knit or whatever, you feel guilty if you're working with someone else's yarn, which is so stupid. But I keep thinking, cool, I need to show off my yarn, I need to have samples, blah, blah, blah. And someone who came up to my stand at the Wool Monty said that, oh, I wish everyone had samples for all of their colourways. And I don't think it's feasible for me. I don't do enough yarn shows to make it worth my while to spend all that time knitting or crocheting, or both, a square. If I did yarn shows almost every weekend, then yeah, it would be worth it. But I try and switch up the colourways that I take, so I try not to take all of the same colourways to every single show. And I don't do that many shows a year, so it's just not really feasible for me to do that. And I understand how it would be helpful, but at the same time it's not, because I feel like I'm getting up on a soapbox and I don't intend to. Because if I were to knit a square this size and you wanted to knit a jumper this size, that's not the same. It's not the same size. So it's not going to knit up the same, you know? But I tried to make samples so you can see kind of what it looks like knit up, and maybe I'll just keep knitting my frog tiny jumpers. And so I'll just have like a bunch of tiny frogs on my stand, and they'll all be wearing tiny jumpers out of my colourways, and everyone will love it because I'll be the frog stand. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, whilst I was stood at the Wool Monty chatting with my sister on Sunday when it was a bit quieter, I was knitting on my sock and I was looking at all of my yarn laid out there, and I've decided I'm going to knit myself a sorrel. Now I'm not going to knit it in the summer. I'm not. Maybe I will. If I've got a yarn show in September, I should probably have it for then. But who knows? Because yeah, I was going to do the classic sorrel, which has mohair, and I don't really fancy knitting with mohair when it's very hot. A bit sticky. So it's going to be out of my Dreamweaver colourway. Dreamweaver! And this is on my sturdy sock base, which is 75% superwash Blueface Leicester, 25% nylon, and is very nice for jumpers because it doesn't pill as much as a merino. I mean, it's not as soft as a merino, so if you've got princess skin like my sister, then it might not be for you. But if you can, you know, handle a bit more hardiness, it's not even that hardy. If you can handle it, she just can't bear anything vaguely scratchy because, yeah, princess skin, which is fine. Everyone has their thing. But yeah, I'm going to use these. I'll give you a little close-up of the skein so it's not as blown out. Held with, oh my goodness, Kel Surprise, same colourway on mohair. I know, shock horror. That's the perk of having loads of your own yarn in stock, is being able to knit with it so you can show it off. But like I say, I really want to actually knit with some of my stash, because what's the point in buying it and having it if I'm not going to use it? Feels wasteful. But maybe I need to go through and have a bit of a de-stash of any skeins that have been sat there for too long that I don't think I'm going to use. Who knows? In regard to shop news, the Knit Carol Yarn Club goes live today at 4 PM and will stay open for 1 week. And then, when am I back? I am back up in Nottingham, which is where I am. I didn't do my proper intro, I'm thrown off. I'm back up in Nottingham on the 11th, so then I need to try and dye up that yarn on the Tuesday before we go to Canada on the Saturday. Bit of a squeeze, but I'm sure I will manage it. Let's just hope Royal Mail actually come to collect my parcels this time, because that will be a right royal pain in the ass. So, yes, so the Knit Carol Yarn Club is going to be live at 4 PM today. And is going to stay open for a week. There isn't like a limit. If I find it selling too quickly, I might close it early, but who knows. This month's theme is inspired by Lord Eshtaros and is called Tonight We Bake. So if you would like to snag a skein, check out the website. It's 4 PM BST, UK time, obviously. And there's also a ton of yarn still in stock. So if you would like to snag yourself a skein, please feel free. There was a fair amount left over from the Wool Monty because I over-planned and over-prepped. So if you would like to buy some and free up some space, I would much appreciate it. Slash, if you just wanted to buy some and you fancied it, also appreciated. Link can be found in the description box down below. And yeah, that's all that I've got for shop news right now. And live stuff. Live stuff's been ticking along. It's been doing bits. Like I say, got quite a busy July coming up, so it might be a bit lighter on content. Apologies for that. It's just, you know, that's all I can do. I'll be still posting on Instagram and maybe TikTok, therefore YouTube Shorts maybe. But I can't promise that I'll be uploading to regular videos to YouTube because one, going on holiday for 10 days. 2, I am going in the southwards, and I don't have a laptop that I edit on, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I should get one really. Future investment. It's not necessary right now. And yeah, but I'm hoping to get lots of knitting done, at least of tiny frogs. So I will be posting that on social media and finishing. Nope, wrong project. Where is it? Here. Finishing this because it's needed. I've got cat hair stuck to my lip stain. Ugh. But yeah, Mario is well. He's still chugging along with his business. It seems to be picking up. He seems to be quite busy, which is nice. And yeah, we did a fun village show on Saturday last week, which was really good fun. Quite a long day, but yeah, it was worth doing, and it was fun because he sold out early, which, well, not early, but he sold out earlier than the village show finished, so we got to have a bit of a wander around before we headed off. And I've just sat my frog on my water bottle. Going to pop that down. And yeah, so we've got to have a wander around, go through the tent, see all the, they did like a vegetable competition, they did like a cake competition, they had a knitting competition, I won to next year, a tiny frog, and yeah, all sorts. Like the weirdest vegetable, the longest rhubarb, you know, village show. It's amazing. I loved it. It was amazing. It was so good. So good. Anyway, that is where I'm going to love you and leave you, because the rain is not letting up. It's getting heavier, and I should probably go down and help Mario unpack the shopping, because he went food shopping, and I was on a roll with this, and I was like, I'm just going to go finish my podcast, and then yeah. So thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know if there's any Skillshare classes that I should be taking. If there's any that you've taken that you would recommend, let me know. Maybe we could take them together. That would also be fun. You could set up a channel in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, description box. If you want tea, description box. If you want a t-shirt, description box. And so many other things. Check the description box, there's everything down there, including all my social media, and where you can follow me, where you see me post stuff. So that would be greatly appreciated if you think that's something you fancy. If you found me somewhat tolerable and would like to watch more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. I try to post once a week. Like I say, July is going to be much lighter on content, but I do also have a Patreon. Payments are paused for July, but will start up again in August, because I didn't want to promise something I couldn't commit to. So yes, you usually get one extra video a week, as well as all sorts of other perks, like discount codes. Sometimes, every so often, there is a discount code, or access to the web shop early for various listings, things like that. I try and do fun little perks, slot them in every now and then. I don't know what the cat is doing, but she looks like she's trying to jump out the window, but it's closed. Don't really know where she's going. If you would like to take advantage of Skillshare's generous offer and try out their site for 1 month completely free of charge, check the description box below, or check the pinned comment to click the link there. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. I truly appreciate it. And thank you to all of you for watching this podcast. I hope you enjoyed your cup of tea. Hope it's not cold like mine is. And I will see you very soon in my next video. I'm about to go get my cat before she tries to jump through a closed window.